What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jacob Daniel back at it again here at the Speed Kills podcast. Now, last year I released a video called The Most Improved Bengal for the 2018 season. I thought I would do the exact same thing for this upcoming 2019 season, and I believe that the most improved Bengal for the 2019 NFL season will be wide receiver John Ross. I've really liked John Ross almost since day one. He wasn't my favorite wide receiver in the 2017 NFL draft, but I really liked the pick when we picked him. I think he's explosive. He's very fast, obviously, as he holds the record for the fastest 40 in combine history at 4.22. We haven't seen his full potential for the Cincinnati Bengals yet, and I think that in the 2019 season, there's multiple factors why we will see his full potential, and I think the wide receiver trio of A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and John Ross is one of the better wide receiver corps in the NFL right now, and I think if John Ross can reach his potential, then the Bengals offense will be one of the most explosive in the NFL. To start off, in 2018, John Ross played in 13 games. 10 of those games he started. He had 58 targets, 21 receptions for 210 yards, and 7 touchdowns. As far as stats go, only catching 21 receptions out of 58 targets. Not very good, but him and Andy Dalton have had some connection issues, but we did see them connect quite a few times last year in the red zone and for deep passes. But John Ross can have a really good season. I think if he had over 500 yards last season and played in more games because he did struggle with his health a lot, that we'd be talking about John Ross in a different sense. In the NFL analysts would be talking about John Ross different. Us Bengals fans, we know his potential. We know a lot about John Ross and what he could be. Now, if John Ross is healthy, I think the number one thing for him to break out and be the most improved Bengal team is he has to be healthy the entire season. He can't only play 13 games and start 10 of those games. He has to play all 16 games. I think that would help him a lot. He struggled with a hamstring injury last year and a groin injury, I'm pretty sure. Just different things have not gone John Ross's way, so he needs health for sure to go his way in the 2019 season for him to be successful. The second reason that I think John Ross is going to be the most improved Bengal for 2019 is the Bengals' new head coach, Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor was a part of one of the most explosive offenses last year as a quarterback coach for the Los Angeles Rams, and guess who was on that Rams team? A wide receiver by the name of Brandon Cooks. And I've made comparisons to Brandon Cooks for John Ross in the past, and really that's the ceiling for John Ross, is to be a player like Brandon Cooks. Zach Taylor already knows how to coach a player like John Ross because he coached Brandon Cooks. He knows what it's like to have a person of John Ross's speed in an offense and use it well. The Zach Taylor offense is going to scheme wide receivers open, and I think John Ross's speed is going to be utilized well in Zach Taylor's new offense, and I think he's going to know how to get the best out of John Ross with offense, with scheme, with different routes run, and using John Ross the right way. Another reason why I think he's the most improved Bengal in 2019, the Bengals organization really believes in John Ross. They drafted no wide receiver in the 2019 NFL draft, even though they signed a couple undrafted free agents, but they didn't invest draft capital to draft a wide receiver, when a lot of the NFL analysts in the NFL world think that the Bengals should have, just because they don't believe in John Ross. But this means that the Bengals are fully invested in John Ross and that they know that he has potential. Not trying to draft a player that would go ahead of John Ross helps John Ross immensely. Like I said, it shows that the Bengals have confidence in John Ross and that he can produce. Wide receivers take a little bit of time to impact an NFL team. And as far as 2017 wide receivers go that were drafted in the first round, being Corey Davis, Mike Williams, and John Ross, the only one that had really year 2 impact, in my opinion, was Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers, but Corey Davis has struggled still, and it takes a little bit of time for wide receivers to find success on an NFL team. Tyler Boyd had a really great year 3 last year in the NFL, so I believe that John Ross can emulate what Tyler Boyd did in his third year in the NFL and explode. And if he has a really good connection with Andy Dalton, and we've seen, like I said, they connected a couple times in the red zone on long passes last year, and if they can continue to work on that chemistry, then it would be a very good connection for Andy Dalton. Even though Andy Dalton isn't really a deep passer, I think that John Ross can develop a connection with him, and even in quick game and certain things like that, connect with Andy Dalton. So I think that could be key too, is if he's a big part of this offense, emulates what Tyler Boyd did in his third year in the NFL, connect with Andy Dalton, and just be confident in himself and be healthy. I think that John Ross can be the most improved Bengal for the 2019 NFL season. I believe in John Ross. I have since day one, and I really believe that he can be a really good player for the Cincinnati Bengals and be a really great addition to a really good wide receiver core in the NFL and the Cincinnati Bengals. So that is what I think about John Ross in 2019. I think he's going to improve a lot. As far as stats go, I think he'll be around 700 or 800 yards receiving. I'm not sure about how many receptions, but if he can get upwards of 700 yards receiving, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal phenomenal, and the Bengals offense would be an explosive one, and John Ross would be a really big part of the offense, and I think that's what Zach Taylor's going to do. And that's what I believe in John Ross in 2019. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to stay tuned here on the Speed Kills podcast, as I am always trying to provide quality content for you guys. So make sure to stay here on the Speed Kills podcast and stay tuned for the next video.